Shri Gurupyo Namaha. Hello students, I am Rukmani from Ponvidyashram. I welcome you all to this session. Today's session is a continuation from the chapter Set Our Children Free. Okay students, let me read the chapter now. You may ask that, what can one person do? I would recall a story of my childhood. A heavy fire had broken out in the forest. All the animals were running away, including the lion, the king of forest. Suddenly, he saw a tiny bird rushing towards the fire. He asked the bird, "What are you doing?" To the lion's surprise, the bird replied, "I am going to extinguish the fire." The lion laughed and said, "Wow, can you do it keeping just one drop of water in your beak?" The bird was adamant, and she said, "I am doing my bit." Friends, we live in an age of rapid globalization. We are connected through high-speed internet. We exchange our goods and services in one single global market. Thousands of flights every day connect us from one corner to another corner of the globe. But there is one serious disconnect, and that is lack of compassion. So let me explain the content. Saying that there will be a question of what can one person do, he answers the question with a story. Once a fire broke out in a forest, and all the animals in the forest started running to save their lives, including the lion, the king of the forest. Suddenly, the lion saw a small bird rushing towards the fire. He asked the bird, "What are you doing there?" The lion was surprised to hear from the bird that it's trying to extinguish the fire. That is, to put off the fire. So hearing this, the lion laughed at the bird and asked, "Is it possible with just one drop of water that you carry with your beak?" But the bird was adamant, and she told that she was doing her bit. What does it mean? The bird here, though it can carry only a drop of water, it is doing its part of work to save the forest. In the same way, he means that people should realize that each and every living being has to be helpful to others by doing his part. Now the content. Let us inculcate and transform these individuals' compassion into a global compassion. Let us globalize compassion. Mahatma Gandhi said, "If we are to teach real peace in this world, we shall have to begin with children." I humbly add, let us unite the world through compassion for our children. I ask, whose children are they who stitch footballs yet have never played with one? Whose children are they who harvest cocoa yet have never tasted chocolate? Whose children are they who are dying of Ebola? Whose children are they who are kidnapped and held hostage? They are all our children. I remember an 8-year-old girl we rescued from intergenerational forced labor from stone quarries. When she was sitting in my car right after her rescue, she asked me, "Why did you not come earlier?" Her angry question still shakes me and has the power to shake the whole world. Children are questioning our inaction and watching our actions. We need collective actions with a sense of urgency. Every single minute matters. Every single child matters. Every single childhood matters. So now, in this paragraph, he says that we are in the age of rapid globalization. What is globalization? Globalization is a term used to describe how trade and technology have made the world into a more connected and interdependent place. That is, it promotes and increases interactions between different regions and populations around the globe. So we, the people from one part of the globe, is connected to the other parts of the globe through speed internet, exchange of goods, thousands of flights that fly across globe. But still, there is a serious disconnect, and that is lack of compassion. So disconnect here means not attached or separated. Compassion is a feeling of kindness and care for another. So lack of compassion is a situation where one will not comfort or aid another during their strife or pain. So he wants us to firmly establish this in the minds of people and transform this individual compassion into global compassion. He says that we need to globalize compassion. So he quotes the words of Mahatma Gandhi, who told us that to teach the world about real peace, we have to begin with the children. The author adds with this, saying, unite the world through compassion of our children. So he puts many questions to the world by asking, whose children are they? The children who stitch the football have not played with one like that. The children who harvest cocoa never tasted it. The children who die of Ebola. The children who are kidnapped and held hostage. And he replies that they are all our children. He recollects the incident that he rescued a girl whose family worked from generation to generation there as a forced labor in a stone quarry. He was shocked to hear from that girl who asked him why didn't he come earlier to rescue her. So he says that collective and swift action is required to save them, as every single minute, every single child and every single childhood matters. So now let me read the content. Therefore, I challenge the passivity and pessimism surrounding our children. I challenge this culture of silence and this culture of passivity, this culture of neutrality. We must be bold, we must be ambitious, and we must have the will. We must keep our promises. Over 50 years ago, on the first day of my school, I met a cobbler boy my age sitting outside the gate of my school. I asked my teachers, why is he working outside? Why is he not with us in the school? My teachers had no answer. One day, I gathered the courage to ask the boy's father. So he said, Sir, I have never thought about it. We are born to work. His answer made me angry. It still makes me angry. As a child, I had a vision for tomorrow, a vision of that cobbler boy sitting with me in my classroom. Now, that tomorrow has become today. So in this paragraph, he says that he challenges that the children are surrounded by the state of being neutral, the acceptance of what happens, and believing the negativity in life. And he calls upon everybody to involve themselves to put an end to all forms of violence against children. He says that people must be bold, ambitious, and must have the will to stand with our children and keep our promises. 50 years ago, during his first day at school, he met a cobbler boy sitting outside the gate of his school. When he asked his teachers about the boy sitting outside the school gate, working for the whole day, they had no answers for it. The author courageously approached the father to find out the answer to his question. The boy's father replied that they are born to work and never thought about this in their life. That answer made him feel angry, and he had a vision for tomorrow, making that cobbler boy sit next to him in his classroom. he says that tomorrow has become today. Now let me continue from the chapter content. I am today and you are today. Today it is time for every child to have a right to life, right to freedom, right to health, right to education, right to safety, right to dignity, right to equality, and right to peace. Today, beyond the darkness, I see the smiling faces of our children in the blinking stars. Today, in every wave of every ocean, I see my children are playing and dancing. Today, in every plant, in every tree and mountain, I see our children growing freely with dignity. Friends, I want you to see and feel this today inside you. So, in this paragraph, he says that today, each and every child has got the right to life, freedom, health, education, safety, dignity, equality, and right to peace. He says that today he could see the smiling faces of children in the blinking stars, the dancing and playing of children in every wave of the ocean, the children growing freely with dignity. He wants us to feel like the author. So now the chapter content. Today I see thousands of Mahatma Gandhis, Martin Luther Kings, and Nelson Mandelas calling on to us. Let us democratize knowledge. Let us universalize justice. Together, let us globalize compassion. I call upon you in this room and people all across the world. I call for a march from exploitation to education. I call for a march from poverty to shared prosperity, a march from slavery to liberty, and a march from violence to peace. So in this paragraph, he says that today he could see thousands of Mahatma Gandhis, Martin Luther Kings, and Nelson Mandelas who are calling us. And he says that we need to democratize knowledge and universalize justice. So he means that we have to make education common for all groups, not for selected groups, and justice to be given to all, and we have to globalize compassion. So together we need to globalize compassion. So through his speech, he calls everybody in this world to march from exploitation to education, march from poverty to shared prosperity. Prosperity refers to successful social status. March from slavery to liberty. So liberty means freedom. March from violence to peace. So now from the chapter content. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. So it means, let us march from ignorance to awakening. Let us march from darkness to light. Let us march from mortality to divinity. So he concludes his speech with an ancient Indian mantra calling us to march from ignorance to awakening, march from darkness to light, march from mortality to divinity. So with this, we have come to the end of the chapter. So hope you understood. So with this, we have come to the end of this session. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.